Everyone says you need to create unique and interesting characters. How do you do this? What is the method? What is your method? Are there any tricks to help? The questions go on, but I may have a way to help you by diving into psychology of personalities. Welcome, my friend and fellow scriber, to the Writer's Mindscape. This is Books for Writers, the psychology workbook for writers, tools for creating realistic characters in conflict by Darian Smith. I don't know about you, but I've always been fascinated by personality psychology. I think it has something to do with my desire for realistic characters and not just characters that are pieces on a chessboard and they go where you want. I don't know, it's just me. If you go to Google and you type in personality psychology or personality theory, all that, you're going to get the Myers-Briggs personality test or system, whatever you want to call it. A lot of the books that I've read will usually recommend using that to help create your characters, which is not a bad idea. And I was actually going to be doing that myself until I had a conversation with a friend of mine years ago. She was actually in school for psychology and was taking a personality psychology class. So one day I just asked her, what's new? Is it still the Myers-Briggs system that the state of being for personalities? And she just laughed. She's like, no, it's not. And I was like, okay, so that's good to know. Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that was just her opinion based on her studies. It's still heavily used out there, I know for a fact. The reason I bring that up is not the fact to point out that someone who was studying it laughed or doesn't like it. It was more of what it did to me, and it sent me on a journey, you could say, to find out other theories, other ways to get behind personalities, people overall. And it would have been a very easy search if I wanted to fork up a few $100 to buy a textbook on personality psychology. Yeah, I didn't. I could rent it, but again, if I don't have the time to read it, it just doesn't work out. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do that until now. That's when I found the Psychology's Workbook for Writers. And boy, am I glad I found it. I actually found it in 2018, and it's been sitting on my Kindle since then. With that being said, let's transition into the actual summary of that book. The Psychology Workbook for Writers covers 11 different theories on personality. They range from all different sorts. Yes, my friend, who, if you are a Myers-Briggs fan, it is in here. They range from blame the parents, flip the script, pieces of me, all affairs in love and war, there's no place like home with the family, state of being, conflict of interest, personality plus, giving grief. There's a little bit in all of us. Ugh. And me and my shadow self. Oh, me and my shadow. Now, I know that doesn't tell you much, but if you are interested in personality psychology and really want to dive into your characters in a deep way, this is a great starting point. So, with that said, let's look at the pros and cons of this book. And boy, there's some pros and there's some cons. So what's good about this? Well, it's a fast read. According to Kindle, it's an hour and a half read time based on how fast you read. And the paperback is 92 pages. So you should be able to breeze through this very fast if you're just reading the book. If you're concerned that since we're dealing with psychology, it's gonna hinder you from reading fast, wrong. Darian Smith does a very good job of breaking down complex ideas and theories into little bits that are easily understand. Something that's not easy to do. You can quickly read a theory, go over the questions, and move on if you so choose. At the end of each theory, Smith does give you a few tidbits and ideas of how you can use the theory and a series of questions to ask. You do not need to know anything more about the theory to be able to answer those questions. Going through this book, I found several theories that I plan on using myself in different projects, not in the same one. That would be weird. I did find one theory that seems that it could actually probably work with many theories, and that is the conflict of interest. This one deals solely on how a person deals with conflict. Outside of the Myers-Briggs, I find that this could be used in conjunction with other theories. And yes, my Myers-Briggs fans out there, it is in this book. It's Personality Plus. I've covered the pros, now it's time for the cons. Or con. The cons. So what's wrong with this book? Well, there's two. And one is just preference, honestly. And that's the length. I wanted more. I finished the book going like, that's it? Really, Darian Smith? Really? I wanted the meat and steak. I want the meat of all these theories. This book should have been like 300 pages. That's what I want. But I didn't get that, and that's disappointing. But ultimately, it's not a violation of what Smith set out to do here. He's very clear that he's covering these theories. Not going into detail, covering, summarizing, and he's helping you use them to create characters. So while it is a con for me, ultimately, I can't say it's actually a bad thing for the book because it does set up to do what it's supposed to do. While it does degrade my desire for this book, personally, I can't hold that against it overall. The next thing I can, and I do, and that is the workbook. Have you ever bought in a workbook? A workbook that goes along with another book. I have. This is not a workbook. Not even close to it. This is more in lines of what you'd get in a self-help book, where at the end of each chapter, you'll get a few questions to help use that chapter in your whatever you're trying to improve. That's what you get here. That is not a workbook. A workbook helps you dissect every element of what is covered in the book so you can use it. A page and a half, 2 pages of questions with a few tips is not a workbook. This is a big issue. I'm gonna slide in right here because, as you can see, I'm getting pretty heated, and I'm probably gonna get heated here. But when you have the word workbook in the book's title and you get what you get, oh my God. No. That's not a workbook. A few questions and a few helpful tips to how to use what you've just read is not a workbook. This is a workbook. This is the Outlining Your Novel workbook from K.M. Weidland. Boy, do you get your money's worth, because this is what a workbook looks like, not what you get in this book, which really pisses me off because I really goddamn enjoyed the knowledge you get from this book. But it's not a workbook. The issue bugged me so much that I gave this book a grade on my first record, a bad grade. And as you can see, it still annoys me. But again, it does cover what it set out to do. It does help you. Those questions will help you use that theory to create interesting characters, but it's still not a workbook. The Psychology Workbook for Writers, Tools for Creating Realistic Characters in Conflict by Darian Smith. It's a great quick read that will get you caught up on modern personality psychology and get you started using 11 different theories to do so. While it's not perfect, it will be for many writers. But if you are like me who want the meat of the potatoes, this is still a good starting point if you're not caught up, but you will have to go elsewhere. Like I said in the cons, this is a preference for me, and it does tint the book overall from my personal view, but I can't hold it against it when it doesn't violate the purpose of the book. The workbook element, it does. Oh my God, we've covered that. The book covers its premise. It gives you the theories, it helps you use them. Plain and simple, it does that. For the price of $9.99 for the paperback and $6.96 for the Kindle, that's a tough price to pay. It's a great book that will do exactly what it says, but for me, the price is a little high. $6.69 is a little bit better. $5 would be better, would be the better price overall. But if you pick it up, for you to decide yourself. As for the grade of this book, that's tough. When I originally recorded this review, that workbook element pissed me off so much that I gave it a 4. And to me, it deserves worse. But ultimately, I do believe this book is perfect for writers who want to know modern psychology and help use it to create characters. I'm struck with, do I recommend this book? Do I not? And ultimately, the purpose of these reviews are to give you books on will they help you? Are they good for writers? And yes, this book will help you. Regardless of its flaw on the workbook, it will still help you. So therefore, I'm going to give this book a 5. It's average. I was going to give it a 6, but I'm like, nope, I can't. It's average. Thank you for watching this review of The Psychologist Workbook for Writers, Tools for Creating Realistic Characters in Conflict by Darian Smith. This is my first book review. I hope you like it, and since you made it to the end of this video, I'm assuming you did. Please consider giving this video a thumbs up. It really helps support this channel. If this review did help you out and you enjoyed it, please consider sharing it on your social media. It really helps support this channel. Let me know down in the comment section if you plan on giving Psychology's Workbook for Writers a shot. With that being said, please hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and turn on all notifications so you know when all Books for Writers and other content go live. Thank you again for watching this video. I hope you're having a great week, and I'll chat with you in my next video. Bye!